Armenia, Colombia. Cheers. Okay, as some of you know, I've had some videos pulled recently. Some have been flagged for adult content, but the craziest one was a coffee time live that I had set up about 4 hours before it was to go live. And it was pulled down for obscene material, actually deleted. And we hadn't even broadcast yet. Basically, it's just, it's a result of being targeted. And the way YouTube has evolved, people can do that and get away with it for a period of time. Eventually it catches up, and then YouTube will apologize, and generally they'll reinstate. But it's something to contend with, and it just brings home these constant issues I have with YouTube. Now, I say constant from my point of view. Over the course of time, when something happens and then it happens again, it feels constant. If you're outside looking in, you'd say, well, that hasn't happened in 6 months. But after a while, it gets pretty aggravating. Like uploading a video yesterday, I put a lot of effort into that Bucaramanga video and checked it all out. I sat through, the whole thing when I was all done, and then I uploaded it. And then what I always do is I go back and I'll watch it again on YouTube to see if there are any changes. And usually there's not, but every now and then, a few times a year, something will happen. And what happened was my video, the voice desynced. So it was like those Japanese movies where, and then you hear the voice afterwards. And it's very frustrating because it's not the easiest thing in the world to go through that whole process. And I just figured on that video, there was only maybe, I don't know, a minute or so of me actually being seen in the video, and the rest of it was all me talking with other things going on. So I just left it. But it's frustrating when you put so many hours into something and you're proud of it. I was proud of that video, and it goes up and there's issues. But this other thing is even more problematic. If I can't depend on a live stream, for example, you show up on time to watch it, and lo and behold, it's not there. And it's not the first time it's happened. It's happened a handful of times in this past year. And so I appreciate, I've got a lot of comments, advice, and I appreciate it, but to be, and not to put a wet blanket on any of it, but everything that I was told about, I've already researched. I've been at this for a long time, and I keep hoping there'll be something new coming along. And I've got an account with library.live or .tv, LBRY.tv. And I've had it for over a year, and every video that's on YouTube is also on that platform. It goes to YouTube and then automatically migrates over to that one. The problem is they don't do live streaming. And I was suggested, well, maybe instead of doing a live streaming, you just do the video and upload it that way. But I really want a mixture, and there's a lot of people that like this live format, and I like the interaction. I like the live interaction. So I need to keep it. So essentially, there's two moves that I need to make. First of all, I need to kind of figure out how to budget $75 a month and go with Vimeo and just end all of this stuff, the censorship and the trolls and all of that, because you don't experience that on Vimeo. But it costs money to live stream and do the things that you need to do there. So that's a longer term goal. And hopefully YouTube will hold it together long enough where I don't have to stop doing this. And then the second thing is I had people go to YouTube channel, and at the bottom where they could actually become a member to sign up there, and people did. And now I have to tell you that if you're there, unsubscribe. How do you unmembership yourself? I don't want anything going through YouTube, so it isn't anything that has to be done today, but over the next month or so, think about doing that. And I really appreciate the support. But what I'm doing is all the different ways that I had contributions coming in, I've got it narrowed down. And this will be the last step on my website, which is, where is it? I want to show you if I can find it. Where is it? There it is. On my website, there's a place, at the top where it's got the banners, and there's one that says contribution. And if you click on that, it goes to a page where you can do a one-time donation. You can do the membership, reoccurring contribution, everything that I did in all kinds of different places, like in Patreon, all of those things I'm consolidating to that web page. Now, just so you know, the actual payment gateway is through a bank. It's completely secure. It's as secure as if you went through Capital One, for example, for your own personal account. The gateway is handled by Stripe, and if anybody is aware, Stripe does a lot of banking services. So not only it's going to be in my control as far as what happens with it, I won't be price gouged, 30% won't go off to YouTube, but it gives me the freedom to be on whatever platform ultimately I end up being and not upsetting the apple cart. So just be aware of those things. Where is my guest? We have a guest today. And where are you? So I want to bring her in. Today's guest, if she's there, if she's set up, is coming. Okay. Is living in Guayaquil, Ecuador. I've known her for, I'd say about a dozen years. She's been a good friend for a long time. She helped me with information when I was moving to Ecuador, obviously. Was one of my sources that I would bounce things off of, when I would do videos, one of many actually, but I'm having her come on because Guayaquil is a different place. And she is the person that I've dropped hints saying that I may collaborate with someone as far as editing the videos for me. She may be doing that. It's her professional business in graphic design and I don't know, all those kinds of things. If you're a business, she does these big businesses in Ecuador, like national chains, and she'll do simple things like advertisement things to setting up websites to you name it, anything to do with graphic design. And so we're talking about a possible collaboration. So we will see. But her name is Lisette, and she's in Guayaquil, Ecuador, unless she tells me something different. And
hello.
Let me turn this banner off. Oh, yeah. I guess if I want to hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
I hear you real well.
Okay, that's so good.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for inviting me today. I hope that you're having a nice Sunday.
Well, I don't know how many people are on. I don't see that on this screen, unfortunately. But typically, throughout this hour or so, there'll be about 100 people that'll show up. And then over time, more and more people. So I mentioned to them, I don't know if you heard, but I told them that we're talking about a possible collaboration.
Oh,
And
yes. Well,
and
um,
and you're sending me a video example.
yes, but I have to finish it today. That's why I done it, because part of this collaboration that we want to do, Lauren told me to learn some programs that he's more familiar with. So I'm just applying those kind of knowledge. So I hope I will send this video, I think in the afternoon. Okay, and you will be able to see it.
What do you think of that program?
I entered to the broadcast after you were saying that I was a graphic design and we were going to do a collaboration. So I don't know what about before what you were saying. Can you update me?
Well, that was all. What is your opinion of that software program I told you about?
Oh, the software program. Well, to be honest, it looks really nice. I There are a lot of options that you go. Oh, that's so cool. The cup with the logo. Yes, for everybody.
She made these logos. Okay,
Yes.
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, no worries. I'm always happy when there's someone who enjoys my work. So I'm really happy that you have your cup over there and with the logo over here. And well, I was telling you that with the program, I find it really convenient because there are a lot of effects and transitions that you can use there. And as you told me, I am with the free software. I can't imagine about the pro one. So right now, as far sorry, as far as I have seen, it's really easy to use. And for example, for people like us that likes to make content in right now, for example, it's the boom of 2020 that people is creating content in internet. It's really convenient to use. And you will have a lot of options. And I hope that the video that I will do this afternoon will be good for you too. And you will like it.
Okay, so you're in Guayaquil now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you were born in Guayaquil.
Guayaquileña madera de guerrero. That's the slogan here.
And then you lived in Cuenca actually, you moved to Cuenca just before I did.
Yes.
And I was there 3 years, and you were there about 3 years, and then moved back to Guayaquil, right? More or less.
Yes, well
Maybe
I was
4 years.
there a little, yes, like 4 years or a little bit of months, more months, because you left Cuenca and I was still there.
Yeah, that's right. And time is going fast. So tell me, what's going on in Guayaquil? How is Guayaquil? How is the virus? Are things returning to normal? Are they getting worse? What's happening?
Well, to be honest, when we started the pandemic, okay, Guayaquil was a total chaos because, well, we didn't control the situation very well. So we were one of the cities in the world with most cases of COVID when this started. And well, our government and how do you say alcaldesa in English? I don't remember. Mayor, I think. Yes, our mayor.
Mayor.
Mayor. Okay. She started to take some decisions that help us to control the situation, and now we can say that we are kind of back to normal because we are still in yellow light, like traffic light. In Spanish, we say it semáforo amarillo. So, but the city is really active with all the security, the biosecurity methods that the government and the mayor has applied. So right now, the economic is activating. People were really worried at the beginning, because we were facing a situation with the virus that where you were like, okay, if I don't go out and work, okay, I will starve to death. Compared to is like if I go out and get infected with COVID. Like COVID was people took the situation like COVID was an option. Okay, it could happen, but if I don't go out to work, I will sure die. I will sure starve to death. So that was like, it made people here like find situations and try to organize themselves to try to keep working, try to gain money, try to keep the economy working, because there was no option. And that's why we right now have it more controlled compared to other cities in Ecuador. That's why even our city is helping other cities around and from other parts of Ecuador with people that is sick with COVID or something. And with the situation, we're doing kind of good right now. We're worried because there's the, it says, well, the newspapers and the news says that it may be like a reboot of the virus. So people is like kind of scared right now that we have to enter again in quarantine or something. But even if they are scared, they are like, no, we don't want to do that. We have to keep working.
Yeah, it's been shown time and again that the quarantines are just, they're not effective. So there's really no reason to make a bad situation worse. So I've got a couple questions for you, Ecuador related. First of all, of the cities of Ecuador that you have lived in or spent time in, what do you think is the best?
Well, I think that depends on what you're looking for to live. I think we have different opinions about that, because when you came here, of course, you were looking some other things that you found attractive, like Cuenca, okay? And Cuenca is a really lovely city. But in my opinion, and I think because of my own interest, I think Guayaquil is one of the best cities to live, because it's the most organized and there are a lot of opportunities to make business, to have fun, and things like that for people that is looking to be active. After it, if you are looking for something like some peace and to rest and to, I don't know, have a nice environment, I am still like in love with Cuenca, and if I didn't have to work or worry about doing business and take advantage of my energy, I will have still live there. So because it's my favorite city.
My view of it is that well, in Cuenca there's a lot of things that are modern. You have access to many things. In Guayaquil, it seems like it's the only truly modern city in all of Ecuador. It seems like there's so much more available in Guayaquil than even Bogota. Do you agree with that or no?
Well, as I know, Ecuador in general, well, most Guayaquil because it's like the center of business here in Ecuador. Yes, we are being told that we are a really modern country, one of the most modern countries in the region, because of internet and access to technology and things like that. That it could be better if we didn't have to pay that much taxes for everything that we import. Okay, but. And yes, I think that we have a lot of technology and modern places and things to do here compared to other countries. For example, I was talking with a friend that she went to Mexico. She made tourism like a few years ago. And she told me that Mexicans, when she was talking about Guayaquil and talking about Ecuador in general, they were like, oh, well, we don't have that here. We don't have that there, and things like that. I can't compare it like right now because I was in Bogota when I was like how much? 15 years old, 14 years old. So I think that in that time, Bogota must have changed. But
Yeah.
I can say that Guayaquil, you can find a lot of things. Uh, for example, the advance in architectonic buildings and things like that, because business is growing here, it has made us think like with that, like, okay, Guayaquil is getting modern, Guayaquil is growing up. So I think that yes, it could be.
I should mention to the viewers that you've been to the United States a few times. You went to Disney World once, right?
Yes.
And you spent quite a bit of time. I don't remember how long. I'm thinking a year in
No,
Massachusetts. It wasn't a year. It
no, it
seemed
was
like a
like
long time.
4 months.
Okay. Well, it seemed like a year to me, but so 4 months, and that was near Boston, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
In the winter time. I remember that.
Like autumn, winter, yes. And
Yeah,
it was
because you
cool.
you were dressed for Guayaquil, and you found out you were living in a freezer.
Yes, that was a really surprise event because it's like you're okay, let's just put some sweater on and you will be fine. And when I went out, it was like I was my body was hurting so much because of the cold. And we have to run back again inside the building. And we were like, okay, deep breathe and prepare yourself for this. So I was like, okay, we have to be prepared. Like, let's go and take a taxi. So yes, it was really like surprising how the weather can be so extreme there compared to Ecuador, because we have a weather like, yes, it's cold, but you can manage it. It's like put some blankets on and you will be fine.
Well, I mention it because I want them to know that you're not just seeing Ecuador from inside Ecuador, that you've seen other parts of the world also. And that gives you a better comparison than some other people might have, a better frame of reference.
Yes, I have had the opportunity to in other countries when I was little, when I was a little girl. And I lived in Peru, I lived in Costa Rica, also in Colombia. No, I'm sorry, in Colombia, no, in Mexico. And well, I had the chance to be in the United States for some months too and be able to travel there too. So it was really interesting. And, but it's like, I love my country. With all the things that it has, I prefer to be here. I'm not in the how can I say it, in the position that, oh, I want to go out, because I'm really looking to travel the world and keep knowing it. Okay, keep knowing more people. But my country is really really nice. I have been in United States, and when I was there, I was missing a lot of things from it because the culture, the people,
Yeah.
even the way they manage their daily lives is so different. And here, I think that we are more freedom to do more things than in other countries. More
You know,
free. So
it's a good point, because when people leave the United States and they'll go to Ecuador or here in Colombia, whoops, they're always looking for things from home. They're looking for brands that they're familiar with, like Skippy peanut butter. They're trying to find. They spend a lot of time trying to recreate the life that they had because it's what they know. And you'll see on Facebook, well, if you don't like it, then go back home. And it's crazy. It's human nature to want to be around the things that you're comfortable and familiar with. Now, in time, you learned that you don't have to have Skippy brand peanut butter, that maybe there's another peanut butter that's just as good and a third of the price. Because peanut butter from the US is very expensive in Ecuador. Here in Colombia, things are pretty much very similar in price as the United States. As a matter of fact, Colombia is so much like there's so much about it that it's very similar to the United States in how modern it is and how efficient how sophisticated that the country is. But the nice thing about Colombia is, while they have all that, they've kept their soul. Now, maybe in Medellin, they sell their soul a little bit, but in the rest, like here in Armenia or Bucaramanga that I just went to, and we'll get to Q&A on that, it's still that laid back. You still have that freedom that even in the United States, everybody talks about the freedom of the United States. And it's true in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of big government there, and everything is accounted for. If you spend money, then you have to, it's reported somewhere somehow. And it's so easy to get a traffic ticket or to get caught up in the system. And here in Colombia and in Ecuador, those things are so far from you. They're so distant. You don't get caught up in systems. You just spend your time living your life. And so it has that kind of freedom. It has the freedom like I grew up in the United States, back in the 50s. It was like that there also. Now in time, it'll probably change here. It'll probably change in Ecuador, because it seems like governments, the more grip they can get, they'll take. But in my lifetime, I'll enjoy the freedom here.
Yes, well, I have a memory when I arrived there in the United States. I will never forget it. That's why I can say about a little bit thing about the freedom. It's not like the countries don't have their protocols and things to follow. Okay, but in the United States, it surprised me so much when I arrived, and they sent me to the interview room or the question room or the guilty room, because that's how it felt.
The guilty room.
It was awful. And there was this mad officer like looking at you like you are a criminal. And it's like, and when I gave him my information, he just saw all my life there. And it was like, oh, you work here and you were there and you studied here. And it was like, oh my God, how these guys know so much about me. And it was like, I felt so like naked. And I got nervous because of that. And he was looking at me with that angry face. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is going to take me to jail for something. I don't know. And well, other situation that I had there that surprised me a lot was I was with my mom. Okay, she was driving a car and we were doing something for the roomie that we were sharing an apartment. And we were in a rush, so we had to do it fast. And while my mom was driving, okay, she called her and she was like, hey, go on and do it fast because I need my car. You have to come back right now. And we were like, oh my God, let's do it fast. And my mom got so nervous. And it was in winter that when she was turning on the street, there was a car and we tried to I don't know how to stop. Okay. But the car, it slid because of the cold, and we crushed the other car in front of us. Okay. So we were in Ecuador, for example, that situation will be like, okay, let's go hide and let's try to settle this, no?
I know. In Ecuador, they just get out of their cars and run away. Even the bus drivers, they just get out and run.
So it's like, okay, let's talk with the person that we just already crashed, and let's settle down. Let's go and talk about it. So we were talking in a shopping center, and there were the cops coming to us, and we're like, oh my God, how this guy just know? We were over here. We were trying to hide, and they came here. They came to us and was like, "Okay, we saw that you had an accident," and I was like, my mom didn't talk in English, so I was the one who had to handle the situation. And well, the other person, it was a woman. She was like, "No, yes, it was an accident, things like that. We're talking about it and blah 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 blah." But I was so scared because I was like, "Oh my God, how these guys just knew where we were." those things is like you can manage them here in Ecuador. Like, okay, I once I had a crash too here. That's the only crash I have had in my life here because I was falling asleep. But when it happened, well, I just woke up in that moment and I ran away because I didn't want to have trouble, and nobody noticed it. So that's the comparison. It's like I just ran away with my car was like destroyed in the back, but no one noticed it. I was like, okay, Ecuador.
Yeah, it's funny. It was surprising. I saw it happen one time where the driver ran into the back of another car, and he got out, and I thought he was going to go meet with the other driver, and he just ran away.
Okay.
It's just crazy. And then there was a bus accident that I was reading about where the driver just got out and ran away and left his bus. It's
Yes. I want to like, how do you say? I want to greet or make a greeting to Reese Ludlow. He's telling us in China, autos are required to inform the local police when a foreigner checks in. Interesting. So greetings for you, Reed, and thank you for watching us.
You're used to doing gaming, right?
Yes, I am a gaming streamer.
So you're good at those things. I suck at it. You know, it's like all the things that you're supposed to do. You know, the upbeat, positive, all the things. You know, announcing things like that. I'm just not good at it. But
So, well, for the viewers that we have right now, I invite you to tell Lauren some advices so he can improve in that way.
no, please don't. The thing is, I actually know how. It's just, it's I am who I am.
It's like,
I'm just a boring guy.
Well, that's why you need a charismatic girl.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned when you went to the United States and you go through immigration and it was intimidating. You know, that's actually an experience you can get coming the other way. When I came into Ecuador for the first time into Guayaquil, they held me up for about 4 hours. They had me in a back room. I came down with, it wasn't a ton of money, but it was about $8,000.
I remember that.
I told you about it, right? And I was there for hours and hours, and he kept counting the money over and over and over. It's like, oh my God, it's not going to change. And then to make matters worse, I forgot to give him the money that was in my wallet, which was a couple $100. And so when he asked about that, hours after all of this, then he had to start counting again, but not just what was in my wallet. He began counting all the money all over again and again and again. I have no idea what it was about, and I also don't know why we had to go in a back room. Nobody was around. I mean, you know, I'm thinking, is he expecting me to give him some money so he leaves me alone? It was crazy. And then they go through my bags, and I had a little pistol in there, but it wasn't a lethal pistol. It was just a little target pellet, which are legal in Ecuador. But then they had to call the army. So then I have to wait. Well, the guy comes from the army over there so he can look at it and say, yep, this is legal. But because it was reported, you're going to have to pick this up in the morning at the army depot. It's like, I'm not going to do that. I was sick. I was fresh out of the hospital, if you remember. I mean, I couldn't even walk. You were with me the first time I walked in Cuenca. Remember, I could
Yeah,
go
you
like
were dying.
half a block and I couldn't walk anymore. I hadn't recovered. And
And I
so,
made it, and I made it worse with tomato juice.
oh my God. Well, that's, yeah. Tomate.
but
Ugh,
it wasn't my intention. I have to say that.
arbor.
I thought it
Free,
was healthy.
free tomato. It's nasty. So anyway, it wasn't anything important, and it wasn't anything really valuable. And so I just left it. I'm not going back tomorrow, for that. It was ridiculous. But all of that stuff, I was there. I don't know how long I was there forever. It just took forever. So I hear what you're saying in the US. That's pretty typical. But if you're coming from another country into Ecuador, you can experience the same thing. Now, I will say that years ago when I came to Colombia, I was through in a couple minutes. And when you cross the border here, coming from Ecuador to here, it takes about half an hour to an hour to get through the Ecuador side. You go to the Colombia side, it's about 3 minutes. Now, there might be a line, and with all the Venezuelan people, there were lines. But when you actually get to the window, they just, what's the purpose of your visit? How long do you plan to stay? Stamp the thing. Here you go. Next. It's just so fast. All right, what do we got here?
You have always talked about how efficient Colombia is compared to Ecuador in those kind of things.
Well, it is. Colombia is a no offense intended, but it's just far superior in things like that.
Okay, there's Craig Gallup saying that being boring is underrated. Greetings to Greg. Hi, how are you? Hope you're enjoying this.
It's good to be boring. This is the boring club. Okay. Do we have any questions? Anybody want to know anything about Guayaquil or about Ecuador? Or they're always asking if I have a girl on, if she's dating. I don't know if answer those kind of questions. I always tell them it's none of their business, but
well, beside that, I can maybe talk about something interesting. For example, right now I am drinking a typical drink. Okay,
like
here
mora.
in Ecuador. Yes, it's called colada morada. Okay, and this is a typical drink that that we only drink at this time of the year because of the Day of the Death that is tomorrow. Okay, so if you wonder what it is, okay, this is a drink that we give to the living, so and to commemorate the death. Okay, we and the indigenous people, okay, they used to make this drink and bury their death with it, so they can have food when they go to the other life. So, okay, when you come to Ecuador in this time of the year, I recommend you to drink this. Colada morada.
And I recommend you don't. No,
Why?
That's probably good. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. In Cuenca, do you know where the flower market is, right? Where the flower market is? Mm-hmm. Okay. And right there is a church. It's for nuns, correct? Mm-hmm. And on the side, there's a place where nuns will sell that.
Okay, so you just taste it.
and so I had it, and I felt terrible, but it was such a surprise of being so nasty. I actually spit it on the ground, and I was humiliated for doing that. I mean, I'm not like that, and I don't know if I've ever done that before, but I was expecting it to be like mora, blackberry juice, and it had such a nasty taste. Now, I was with who was it? Maria, and she tried it, and she said it was absolutely horrible. But she said usually it's good, but I never tried it again.
Yes, so maybe you have the bad luck to taste the one that was very bad, because this is really nice. It's sweet. It's made of purple corn. okay, the purple corn flour, and fruits like blueberries. Okay, we call them here mortiñas because we eat it a lot in this kind of season. And fruits like how do you say it? Oh,
Blackberry.
strawberries, blackberries, peach, and things like that. So it doesn't have to like taste that horrible as you say.
Yeah. It's a little starchy, but it should have been good, but there was something really foul about it. I don't know what it was. Maria confirmed. She said it was absolutely horrible, and she took my glass and threw it away. She didn't even take it to drink it. She just took it and threw it away.
Poor nuns. Maybe they were cooking or they were making this drink with their bitterness of their souls.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There was something foul about it. And I probably should have tried it again. I just,
Well,
just
for all the viewers, I invite you to try it again, okay? Because Lauren had a bad experience, but it's not all the experience, okay?
Now, there's also something else around this holiday. I don't know if it's only Cuenca, but isn't there some kind of like a fish stew? I don't remember the name of it.
A fish?
No, the beans. It's got all these different kinds of beans.
Fanesca.
That's it, Fanesca.
Yes, that's one of the. But Fanesca is not around this season. That's that we.
That's Cuenca.
No, that we eat it in the. How do you say when we commemorate Jesus when he's going to die, the Saint Week. That
Easter.
Saint Week, yes, Easter. Okay, there we prepare fanesca, but not this, in the time of this year we make guaguas de pan. Okay, that is a bread like made of a baby form like, and it's sweet and with colada morada. That's the typical food around this season.
Yeah, if you're going to Ecuador this time of year, that it's guagua de pan, it's bread, and they're usually about this tall, and they're shaped like a baby.
Yes.
And like she said, they're a little sweet. You'll find them in every bakery. They're a favorite. You know, you see people walking around with them.
They are proud of their guagua.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're not spectacular like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've eaten. But it's one of those foods that you grow up with and you have an emotional attachment with it. And it doesn't matter that it may not be the best thing in the world, but it's the best thing in the world for you at that time of year because it's an entire package. You know, it's like around Thanksgiving, people might have the same feeling about turkey stuffing. You know, other people might, it's like, why are you excited about bread and some spices, you know, some herbs? Well, you grew up with that comfort, and that guagua de pan it kind of fits that. Also, the drink that you're drinking, it fits in that category. It means more than just what the drink is.
It's not because of the meaning of that you grow up. It's like it has to do with that, but also because these kind of dates are really special for Latin America people in general. All of them, they have their own traditions. Here in Ecuador, the guagua de pan represents our dead ones, our loved ones that already died. Okay, and it's like if you eat them, okay, it's like they are living through you. Okay, that's kind of the meaning of this drink and the guagua de pan. For example, I know in Peru even they make not only the baby, they make children, they make adults, and they even make them more elaborated. So, but the meaning behind that is like you are eating. That the guagua de pan represents your loved dead ones, and you are eating them so you can let them live through you because you are alive.
Yeah. Okay, we have another question.
Reese, are most homes in Guayaquil air conditioned? And is yes, is electricity expensive? Well, Reese, I have to disappoint you, but no, not most home here are air conditioned. My home doesn't have air conditioner. So, for example, okay, and it's like electricity. Yes, it can be a little bit expensive compared to other services, and Korea in his time wanted to do something about that, but as well, right now Korea is not in the government, and well, maybe he made a lot of mistakes. He did good things too. He wanted to build the hydroelectric, these hydroelectrics that they never kind of worked. Okay, but if they had worked, I think that electricity would have been better here to have air conditioners for all. Even right now, the induction kitchens, okay, they stop elaborating them. So I don't know what is going to what the people is going to do. The people that bought that right now.
Yeah,
The
all
things
of
with the
those
government is really complicated right now.
all of those things fell apart. Those dams are such a sad story because he went in debt for billions of dollars, and he contracted with the Chinese to build them. And he promised that there would be so many jobs, except the Chinese brought all their own employees. They brought thousands of people in, and there were no jobs. The only people who had jobs at these sites. I went to visit the one between Cuenca and Machala. There was one there, and the only jobs were the people with the food truck. They would come and sell food for lunch, things like that. But
Yeah.
the actual, running the equipment or doing any of the work, they were all Chinese, and it was all defective. It was all bad material. There's a dam up in near Bogota that all the concrete cracked and crumbled, so it's unsafe to use. And I don't think they have one dam operating. There were 6 that were being built. I don't think there's one functioning. It was a great idea, but now all they have is a big debt and these projects that are just falling apart.
Yes.
And
he fulfilled his promise that there were more jobs, but the thing he didn't tell us about is that those jobs were for 8 people.
And then he bought the helicopters. Do you remember the helicopters?
Yes.
And he bought those from India, I think. And they all crashed.
Yes. We have a lot of problems choosing the technology that we want to use. Right now, when we had the Independence Party in Guayaquil, the mayor bought some drones to make a sky spectacle, a sky show. And some of those drones fell apart in the middle of the show. So it's like, yeah, we need an advisor for that because we're buying many bad stuff.
Well, Korea made a lot of money on those projects, and and there's nothing to show for it except billions of dollars of debt. So I know a lot of people think that he did a lot of good things for the country, but so much of it was self-interest, and there were so many bad decisions that really he just left the country with debt with nothing to show for it. Like the university up near Bogota that nobody goes to. Yeah, it was like it was going to be the next Silicon Valley. And he built it out in the middle of nowhere with no actual advisors. They pay all these people around the world to put their name on the university, even though they don't do anything and they don't teach anything. And it's so far from things that nobody wants to attend the university. So they have this huge university. And last I knew, they had like 400 students in total.
Yes.
It's crazy. I mean, it should be tens of thousands of people there.
Yes, it was a huge building, but okay. How can I tell you? The thing is that there's people that is still supporting Korea, because compared to the actual government, this government sucks a lot. Okay, in Korea is like he left us a big debt that the actual government is trying to manage, but it has made more mistakes than before, and all they say is like, oh, it's Korea's fault because he gave us debt, and they don't do anything really like good for the people. So people is really angry and they are asking Korea, please save us and come back.
Well, you need to remember that the president now is of the same party and was vice president of Korea. So it's no surprise that the bad decisions keep going, because they have these ideas, and they're mostly ideas out of Cuba, Venezuela, Bolivia.
The thing is that Korea did it right, at least, okay, because we could see things that he did, and that's what the people is saying. It's like, oh, but Korea made buildings and make hospitals and made schools, and this government is not doing anything. They have the same idea, okay, but this guy is really
Well, that's true, and I don't want to get in the weeds on the politics because we're going to bore everybody. But when you look at the debt that he created and all these huge projects, yeah, he did a great job on roads, and there's schools, and those things you say is true. But when you look at the massive amount of debt, it's just insanity. It wasn't worth it.
And the worst is that people is paying that, not Korea.
It's kind of like if somebody comes to you and gives you the most delicious hamburger you ever ate, but when the bill comes, it's $50,000. It's like, yeah, he delivered me the most delicious hamburger I ever ate, but it's $50,000. That's okay. Let's get off that.
But
you started it.
Well, no, it was Reese. It was Reese's fault because he was asking for how expensive the electricity was.
Yeah. The nerve. Okay. Now I just came from a city.
A lot of love for you.
I just came from a city, Bucaramanga, which was very surprising to me. It's such a wealthy city. Everywhere you go is air conditioned, and it's not that hot. It's similar to Armenia, maybe a little bit warmer, but it's not hot. It's not like Cali. It's not like Guayaquil. I think Guayaquil is pretty hot much of the time for me. And there, just because there's so much money, a billion skyscrapers, but there's so much air conditioning everywhere. I was freezing because I'm not used to it anymore. I used to love air conditioning, and I would run it 24/7 in my house. But, it's been so long. So I go there and it's like, I'm freezing to death here. But it was nice. I'm in a hotel and I'm sleeping, and I don't know. I could have got it turned down, but I kind of enjoyed actually using blankets for a change, coming from upstate New York where the winters are terrible. I never sleep with blankets, and there I actually used the blanket, and it was kind of nice.
Well, yes, here in Guayaquil, right now we are like changing the season, so it's getting hotter, and we have like a cool season, like it's fresh because there's wind and there's not so much sun, and it's really nice to be here around like from August to the last days of October. Okay, it's really, really nice, the weather here. But now it's getting hotter. And well, people is used to it because it's like, that's why as Reese was asking, we don't have air conditioners because of taxes and things like that. Buying an air conditioner is really expensive, and maintaining it is too. So that people is like, okay, I have to manage the hot. I have to manage the heat.
It's expensive to live in Ecuador. It's so much cheaper here.
And
every
you
time.
don't earn that much compared to other countries.
Yeah. So
For the things that you can buy.
okay, what time is it? Oh, we're coming up
We
on
have
an hour.
we have like 5 minutes left.
Yeah, and I want to leave a little bit of time for if we've got any questions on Bucaramanga. So if you have, oh, wait a minute, hold on. We're going to get to, it's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. Ah, we caught you.
Yes. Like I didn't expect that. Sorry. I was drinking the last drip.
Okay, well you can hang on if you have time, if you want. I'll see if I've got any questions about my trip. I've got some videos coming up. I was very proud of the last one, and I think I've got probably 7 or 8 very interesting videos coming up. Anybody? There's a delay. There's a time delay.
Okay, take your opportunity to ask anything about Guayaquil. Liz said it's a welcome addition to Coffee Time Live. Groomy the Clown. Hi, Groomy.
No, that's live.
Live. Live, sorry. Coffee Time Live.
Don't you see the difference in spelling? No.
Live. No. It's like I have to practice more my English. I'm sorry if I have made some mistakes in my pronunciation. That's why I have to talk with Lauren more. Okay, so you have to chat with me more, and we have to make more video calls. You see?
Oh, okay.
But what did you make me do here? No, just kidding. But
okay.
Thank you for that comment, Groomy.
Do we have any Bucaramanga questions?
No.
No, apparently not. All right. Well, we're going to end it around an hour today, which is good, but it's rare. Whoop.
Maybe because you have already showed a lot of Bucaramanga things. Okay. Okay, the big ass ants, they are asking you. Can you say that from Craig? Greetings,
Yeah.
Craig. Hi.
Are you familiar with those?
I have heard about them, and all I know about the big ass ants is that they taste like peanut. But I'm scared of bugs like really bad. They are a phobia from me. So if I see those kind of things, I won't be like feeling tempted to eat it.
Okay, well, this is a topic that I did have a conversation with somebody about, and I read a couple articles, and that's the extent of my knowledge. I don't know much about these things. I didn't see them around. Now, I was told a couple things. I was told that, yes, I could try them, and there were places, somebody even told me an address, but I wasn't going to, so I didn't pay attention to it. But I was also told, and an article said this as well, that they don't have enough to export. So they sell them overseas because they bring a lot of money. They're expensive. So they sell them overseas. Their best customer is Japan, and they don't have enough they could sell more if they had more. So apparently somebody keeps a few around for tourists maybe, but for the most part, these are sold for export. I'm not afraid of them. I've eaten all kinds of nasty things. When you go through Marine Corps survival training, it's a month long, and you're required to eat horrible. The worst thing I ever ate was this. It was about so big around. It was white. It was like a fat maggot, a short, stubby. It was almost like a ball, and it looked like a maggot. And you would bite into it, and it would explode with this green stuff, and it was just nasty. So it's not that I'm,
it sounds nasty.
It's not that I wouldn't try it. It's just I wasn't. I didn't have much time to do so many things I wanted to do, and I wasn't going to go out of my way for that. Was the food any different there?
Hello,
Yeah,
Coleman.
I will say that there's more variety. It's more similar to Manizales. In Manizales, you go to the food district, which is Milan, and you've got probably 100 or so restaurants in that area. They're all, I would say, high end, classy, more expensive restaurants, and a lot of very international restaurants, Mediterranean, and Italian, and French, and international. I would say that Bucaramanga is also like that. It's a foodie city. And I mentioned this before, and I'll probably mention it in one of the videos. I was shocked, first of all, if when I ordered food, I'd get back, I'd be exhausted, so I'd order food for delivery, and it would come in, and the portions were gigantic. I mean, absolutely huge.
I saw a post about that, about shrimps with veggies.
Oh, it was 2 or 3 meals to finish. Yeah, I ordered a half an order, and you could feed 4 people on it easily and probably still have some left over. On the other hand, the food prices are considerably higher than here in Armenia or in Manizales. So I guess you get what you pay for. You just don't need so much food. It was crazy how much you get. Food quality was excellent. It was outstanding. I would love to do a restaurant crawl sometime there. They also had, I saw a video once where a guy, he was there for a couple hours and he did his first impressions and he never did a follow-up. And he said that it looked like a very nice city, but it looked kind of boring. And if you like nightlife, you probably wouldn't like it. He needed to get out more. The place is just loaded with these amazing nightclubs. I mean, not like little, they have the little places, little neighborhood places, but they have these gigantic discos that, you know, you expect to hear trumpets when you walk in the door. Do, 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 you know? And in the mall, they had this one area, and I'll talk about it in my video about the mall, that it's like all for adults. It's like this group of all these different kinds of bars and wine shops and snacks, and it's you've got this huge view of the city, and you can go there and you can have drinks, and it's on the other end of where the movie theater is, strictly for adults. Beautiful place. No, it's nightlife. If you're
Lauren is going only to adults.
Yeah, if you
sorry, there was a delay.
If you're into reggaeton or rap or that, you have lots of places to go. If you're into salsa, reggae, American rock, it's all there, and it's all there in quantity. So if you ever see that in someone's video, understand he was just there for a few hours and he just didn't look.
Okay, well, as you say, you were like visiting a lot of adult places. I have a question for you about that. It's like, how is the nightlife over there in Bucaramanga? Did you have the chance to go to somewhere?
No, I'm not that kind. I'm a very, as I've already established, I'm a very boring person. And
so you didn't dance reggaeton.
No, and I was alone, and I was working nonstop until I couldn't go anymore. I walked almost that entire city in 3 days. That's a lot of walking. Okay, we got.
Oh, hello, James. He gave us $5. Thank you for that. We are really glad that you enjoyed this.
What's the us?
It's us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I am here with you. Okay, so I am a part of that, even if it's only for you.
Okay. The checks in the Ecuadorian mail.
What?
The check is in the mail, but it's
Okay.
Ecuador mail.
So it's kind of off because it's like Ecuador thing. Rob, hello, Rob. How are you? It says, Lisette, when are you coming back to Florida? Well, I need to ask the visa again to be able to do that. I hope in the future, when I manage some things that I have to solve, I want to be able to go to Florida again because it's like I went to Disney World, but I didn't have the chance to enjoy it as much as I wanted. So that's in my checklist.
Yeah, I used to have an annual subscription or membership to Disney World where you could go as many times as you want. So I would go twice a year.
Oh,
And I would
let
go.
let me invite you.
I would usually go 10 or 12 days at a time. And you go for 12 days and you barely scratch the surface. You could probably go to Disney World for 2 months before you saw most of everything. I love Disney World. I think it's my favorite place on earth to go and have fun.
Yes. I'm a Disney fan. I like to sing Disney songs from the princesses. Well, I have a question for you. I think that we can finish this if there's no any other question. Hello, Sugar Skull, and welcome to my friend YouTube channel. Okay, it's not mine, it's his. Okay, because he just made that point. Okay, so well, welcome. And I wanted to ask you, and how is the situation with the virus there in Bucaramanga?
Pretty much like everywhere, everybody's aware of it. Everybody's wearing the mask because they're told to. But everybody I was meeting, I do the same thing here in Armenia. Everybody I met, I asked them, did they ever get sick or did they know anybody that was sick? Did they know anybody that died? And the answer in almost every case is no, no, and no. People are aware of it because they're told about it, but they're not, it's not so big that they know people that actually got sick. Now, I got it. I got sick. But I think after a while, people start to realize that, well, it's very contagious and it can be bad, and you don't want to be old with problems because then it can be deadly. But, you know, beyond that, it's not, you know, you got to live your life. You got to get out and work. You've got to, you know, you got to make your money. You got to buy the groceries.
Lauren, you are like Moonra from Thundercats because like you have passed so many things and you are still with us here sharing some good moments.
I don't know the reference, but
okay, for the ones who knows Thundercats, I think that you may know.
I would rather be a thunder dog. Cats are for tacos.
No, cats are friends, not food.
Looking mighty young and glowing after that Bucaramanga trip, must have had some good sunshine after all that walking. I'll tell you, on one day, you know, I've been in quarantine a lot. I haven't been walking like I was before the quarantine hit. And one day there, I got so hot, so overheated, so tired. I didn't know if I was going to make it back to the hotel. I was tempted to get a taxi, but, you know, I wasn't going to give up. You know, it's like you don't quit. So I just kept going. But it really got to me. But after that, then it was okay. I didn't walk quite as fast. I took my time a little bit more, and I covered most of the city.
You covered most of the city, but no, you didn't go to the big ass ants.
No. There's one for you.
Okay, it says, James, does Lisette have a Twitch gamer channel? Well, I just started my channel in YouTube. I have to put more content in it. Right now, I'm moving my Instagram and Facebook. You can find me like tomoyo.art. EC, okay, Tomoyo, Tomoyo,
Y-O.
yes, .ec. Okay, so if you are interested in looking to my content, the content that I'm going to share this month, because this month I'm going to be more active, and well, pues I invite you to do it. Right now I'm buying a little bit, a little. Well, I'm buying some things that I need to make a streaming from my Nintendo Switch because I am a Nintendo fan. Okay, so in this month I'm going to get it. Once I get it, I'm going to share more content and I'm going to be more active in that way. So I invite you to follow me.
You're going to be a professional gamer.
Exactly. And a sexy one.
And and you can play Fortnite.
Yes, I want to try Fortnite. It's like it looks interesting. My sister is asking me to play Free Fire also. And right now I'm
That's very
starting
popular
with PC games
here.
to test. Which one?
Free Fire is very popular here in Colombia.
Yes, Free Fire is really popular in Latin America, as I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Free Fire, Fortnite, Call of Duty.
Okay, any more questions? Bucaramanga? Well, you don't have to ask questions because you're going to get them all answered in the next bunch of videos anyway. But
Well, we're
All
going
right.
to wait for that, Lauren. Oh, that's a really nice, how can I say, tip? No, it's like data. Lol, can you repeat that address? Tomoyo.ec. You can find me in Facebook and Instagram. My YouTube, I have it too, but I have to get more subscribers. If you want to support me with that, then that's cool. You can find my YouTube in Facebook or Instagram too. Tomoyo.ec. There you go. Thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome. All right. Got it? Okay. You turn that off. Go back to comments. And what else? So Bucaramanga is richer. Why are the rents still low compared to Medellin? Well, because you don't have 20,000 people from Europe and the United States. They're overspending. People come from the United States, for example, and they don't understand what the economy is. So they kind of swoop in, living off of the economy of the United States. And so their first impression is it's so cheap. And so you see so much where, oh, it's this much money. Oh, don't worry about it. Keep the change. Oh, that's so cheap. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That brings prices up. They go to an apartment, and let's say the apartment's 1 million pesos. And they'll say things like, well, I'd pay more than that if you would do such and such. You know, it's like they throw money around. They waste money. And so landlords see that, restaurants see that, and they say, well, why don't I just, if I'm getting a lot of tourists in here, why don't I just raise these prices? And so that's why you get this, it's skewed. And it's unfortunately because if you're a person born and raised and living in Medellin, you're getting priced out of your own neighborhood, you're getting priced out of your own city.
Like
and
it
you see
happened in
that
Cuenca.
in Cuenca it happens, but there you've got 7,000. Imagine 20,000. You know, it's a small amount of people, but it can have a real effect. Now in Bucaramanga, you don't really have that, and so it's the higher prices as compared to Manizales or Armenia is based on Colombian people coming with a lot of money. So they say, well, you know, they're rich, I can charge a little bit more, but it doesn't go crazy and go double. But it's it's the richest city in Colombia. And I mentioned in the video, it has the highest gross domestic product per person of any city in Colombia. It has the lowest unemployment rate in Colombia. Jobs for everybody. So you can find places, but I took a couple nice but not extravagant, and I put them up in that video, and I think one was like 900,000. Now my last place, which was really nice in a prime area of the city, was 850,000. So I did it as kind of a comparison, so you could see that to get a place like what I had in Bucaramanga, you'd have to pay 300,000 to 400,000 more, and that kind of goes across the board. And here, 1,000 or 1,500,000 will get you some of the nicest apartments in the city. And in Bucaramanga, that will get you a place like where I'm living now, which is a very nice place, but it's not one of the nicest places in the city. It will. So, all right, what else we got? How is the pollution in Bucaramanga? There wasn't any. Similar to Armenia, you have this constant breeze, which is why at the lower elevation, you would think that it would be very similar to Cali, which is way too hot. It's 90s all the time. But in Bucaramanga, it's 70s and low 80s mostly. And that's because you have a constant breeze, like what I talk about in Armenia all the time.
That sounds so good.
When you have a breeze, you don't really have the kind of pollution like you have in Medellin. Yeah, the air's clean. The food's awesome. Prices, well, higher than Armenia are still quite reasonable and quite a bit less than living in Medellin. So I think it would be a great place for somebody to live. I definitely think if you're going to be in Colombia or come to Colombia, that should be very high on your list of cities to look at. There's so much about that city. There were so many things that I wanted to do and wanted to go to, but I'd have to be there for a month or two. I will return because I didn't even get to go to Simon Bolivar had a house there. And it wasn't just a house, it was a headquarters. He had a headquarters there with his house, and various treaties were signed. And I wanted to go. It was right in the heart of the city, and I didn't go. I wanted to go to San Gil, where that big battle took place, and I didn't go. I wanted to go to the park. They have this park that has a canyon that's bigger than the Grand Canyon.
Mm. That's so cool.
Yeah. I'll get there.
Okay, so Lauren, I have a question for you about that. Which was your favorite place in Bucaramanga?
Cachique.
Okay, what was it about?
It's a little cooler. It's kind of like Armenia. It's cooler in the north and hotter in the south, even though it's a small area. Bucaramanga is similar in that way, and that area is cooler. It's near the river. There's I think a more direct route for that air from the mountain, and it's beautiful there, and it sits right in nature. I mean, it's surrounded by trees and a bamboo forest. I don't know. When I got there, I said, this is really nice. I really like this. So would I want to live there? I could, but it feels, even though it's not a huge city, it feels like a big city to me. It's the size of Cuenca. It has the same population as Cuenca. And it's just too big for me. So
you will stay in Armenia.
Oh, I love Armenia.
Oh, that sounds good, Steve. Hello, Steve, and welcome. So you have an invitation there, Lauren, for your next trip.
I don't know. If I'm in a tree, what if I fell out?
But maybe you will find it interesting. You have to give it a chance. Like Colada Morada.
I think, yeah. I think my next trip will be going back to Medellin. I want to do some videos there. I see people do videos there, and there's just a few things in Medellin that nobody ever seems to talk about that I think it would be good to do videos on. And so I want to go back and I want to do those. And geez, after that, I don't know. Maybe Santa Marta. I don't know. Those hot cities, I don't care for so much.
Well, but the invitation was when you go back to Bucaramanga, you have to try that place.
Oh, I don't know what that is. So
The Forge, the Starship, and
they talk to each other sometimes, which is good.
Yes,
Okay.
well, at least as I know, this space is for sharing opinions.
Okay, we're gonna yeah, just my opinion.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. All right, we're gonna end it here. We've already gone almost an hour and a half. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me and let me be part of this nice space. I hope that you really like this video and all our opinions. And I invite you to try Guayaquil. It's hot, but it's really cool.
It's hot but cool. Okay.
But it can be hot in the way you want it.
Oh my God. All right. Ciao. Bye. On that note.
Bye-bye.
All right. And last call for any question, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I've got a Buffalo Bills game to catch. All right. I think that's it. Well, thank you all. Appreciate you coming. Well, wait a minute. Oh, there was a delay there. Will you ever take a tour? Will I go to a place and take it like an official tour? I wouldn't be opposed to it. There's some real advantages to it, but you know, I hate to beat the same old drum. I live on a pretty limited budget, and those tours are always overpriced, and they're kind of beyond. Like if I went to Bucaramanga and I had scheduled a tour in, I couldn't have afforded to go. So, you know, while I think there's a lot of advantages to them, and I would actually recommend most tours to people, I just can't afford it. Okay, so, all right, that's it. We're going to end it now. Thank you all. Look forward to putting these videos out for you, and hopefully YouTube will hold it together so I can have coffee time again next week. Ciao.